On that job.
One classroom.
Probably two ways to look on here.
Then you go into.
Right.
Usually doesn't make anybody mad. Make those things. Just the plan.
Yeah, for Saturday. Yeah, everyone, yeah, you get to. Obviously, schedule here. Was it? They were saying how this.
It's hearing aids.
Oh, he's got one too.
That's just.
You said it was Riverline. Yeah, you just said it was Riverline.
Everybody got,
No, you said it's for everybody. That's what I asked. What was for me or for everybody?
yeah.
I said, you said.
Why?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's up, Matthew?
Why?
Getting feedback here.
Oh, yeah, I need to turn the light down. Need your one button. Oh, I got it. Just take it away. Okay.
The limited.
Now. Here,
Through there,
What do you do?
muted the speaker.
Well, can they hear us now?
Michael's door, the speaker's just not.
All these topics. I know, I mean, you can chime in as. Okay. Fine.
What I will claims.
Use the money. That's your answer.
I just look for great big. The 6,900 and the 8,200 is already stuck out. Yeah, just see what they are.
That was for her bonus.
Yeah.
Her vacation in Florida.
A bonus that didn't happen.
He's here. Nice. Come here. I'm in the back. So.
She did all that.
Mark.
Call the meeting to order, if you would please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody had a chance to review the minutes from last month's regular council meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve the July 7th, 2025 regular council meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, for public comment, we have Michelle Huntington first. Ma'am?
What I know, about 2 days, as far as I know, it was fantastic. That's what I've heard from everyone. I'm not sure what if you all got to attend, but it was quite a big crowd. Had a great touch truck, had a great kid zone. Then they had their glow foam party, kept the kids busy. Just outstanding, as far as I'm concerned. parade was great. We had 37 entries online, and then we had probably another 20 more up there at the high school, so it's quite a long parade. So I just want to give that feedback, which I don't know if you guys have any feedback as well.
Me and my kids went. It was awesome. We were very happy.
I would agree. I'd say it was one of the most well-attended one we've had, maybe that I can remember. It was well organized, the locations were perfect. Other than just a couple normal little things that come up on my end, it was a very good weekend and uneventful for us. And again, I commend the group put together, did an excellent job, and like I said, it was very well attended.
I'm gonna agree with Keith and Shelley, did put it together, did a great job. Be downtown. Vendors, it was busy all day long, and our lot set up, and we sold out what we had, so. I know there was a couple other vendors that sold out stuff they had, so. Well,
Yeah, I had a booth for my business and I was having to walk around people while I was tearing down. They're still walking up and down stairs. And some vendors were, getting ready to leave, so it was constant foot traffic all day long down Fair Street.
Is this the first year that you did online processing for the parade?
3 days, yes, we did Christmas, last year and had good success with that as well. But we thought since we did it Christmas, we'd do it for Jubilee days. We invited all the ones that had been here at Christmas, and enticing them to come back. We did get a lot of those. The touch truck, the ones that I invited that I didn't think normally came, they also put their rigs in the parade before they brought the touch truck, which is nice. And then I will add too about the vendors, when I handed out to all of them, the fall festival vendor application and the Christmas application, every one of them that I spoke with, which was all of them too, commended us for having a nice hometown festival, and they look forward to coming back. They did very well.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we appreciate all the effort of those that were involved in putting it together, and we look forward to another success next year. Shelley Gray.
Yeah. I know we're probably going to talk about our favorite property here later, but what I wanted on the agenda was, because I know that we're still dealing with that, but we have the 4 houses that we dealt with. I was just curious if there's any talk about another list. Has there been any discussion about other properties that need to be taken care of in town?
There has been some mention of other properties, and there's a comment here.
yes.
I'm looking the wrong way. Oh, I've had discussions, there's been kind of some reasons why we haven't dealt with them. One of the property owners recently passed away, and it's an estate situation. Some of the other ones, I think Tom has talked to the property owners and has been able to get some results.
Or information.
Information at least, yeah.
Is this gonna be like an ongoing thing or are there other options that if like, maybe it's not, then they'd be torn down, but like there's obviously some issues with the house that they could maybe be approached to get some help? If there's grants or anything out there, I'm just trying to, I don't know, like make our community look nicer, there's a lot of houses that are either empty or don't look real great in our community. So I just don't want it to end at these 4 houses, I guess is what I'm saying. I just kind of want this process to keep going if we can, to kind of just help with the housing issue in our small town.
Yeah, when the EDC initially offered the blight elimination grant, there were 7 or 8 houses that we looked at as part of that, and realistically, all those houses, but 1 or 2, we had someone buying and fixing up 2 of them. Someone purchased and tore down 1 of them. Of course, we have Kyle Tom's house that we're still working on. I think Tom has talked to the other
property owner and they are working on it very slowly. So we have had pretty good results with the ones that we had originally identified.
Will they do you think they'll do another one of those like programs, or is that like the only option you have to get help for people, or?
I think. You want to speak on
Yeah,
that?
there was another grant that was proposed to us. I don't know whether it's a federal or state grant. It was for funds to help homeowners to update certain parts of their houses. I know roofs were one of them. But with any grant, it had some caveats that you had to follow through and do. And looking at another community that had received the grant and some of the headaches and issues that they had to go through, it made us step back and wonder if we really wanted to take on that type of grant. Who would decide who gets what, and their biggest problem is they would list in the grant how much money you had up to repair something. Would you believe that every bid come up to that exact dollar to that exact dollar? And they thought there was a lot of wastage to the program, a lot of abuse to the program, and we didn't know if we was right at this moment ready to take on. And I believe that grant is that time passes. Yeah, I think it was we had all this on us and it was really tight. We had to have it in by last month, and
I don't think that would have been a good grant. There was too much involved with that. Like he said, it was a scam,
it had a lot.
not a scam. It was just, somebody was gonna get a $7,000 roof job done, but we were gonna pay 24,000 for
I
it.
think up to 50
So I
or
mean,
25.
$25,000 or $24,000 for a job that somebody else could do for $7,000. Because that's the way the grant was guiding it. It pushed it to that.
So we would like to find something that is manageable for us, that would grant assistance to homeowners to come and to reasonably apply for that and be able to get assistance if they need assistance. But that grant just seemed to be a little overwhelming, and actually the person that presented the opportunity to us to apply for the grant gave us a lot of warnings on the background that it had some real, they have seen some other people they helped get the grants have some huge issues with it. One of them even said they wish they never would have applied for it. It was just so, and we didn't need more issues, we didn't think so. But that is a good comment. I mean, it would be nice if we could find assistance for some people to help work on their homes if possible. So.
I moved with the Shelley in charge of that.
What?
I moved with the Shelley in charge of that.
That's up there. Probably.
So.
I drove around like one evening and took pictures of houses and drove through some alleys. I was just floored at some of the people's beds. It's a full-fledged junkyard in the backyard.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't even believe the neighbors haven't complained. There are two houses right side by side, and I got junk cars, junk lawn mowers, weeds as tall as the house, and in the backyard, off.
Chief practically took the words out of my mouth, directed towards Shelley, and Shelley, it sounds as though you have a great empathy for people that have a property maybe that really, if you ask them, they would love to put money in it and fix it up and would benefit the community and of course benefit their household. And there may be private organizations, private companies, private individuals that have grants available. If a person were to research grants, there's grants for nearly anything, if you just want to dig deep enough and look for them. So I would encourage you to volunteer, to do a little grant research. And maybe if you came up with some, then we could figure out how to reach out to those that appear to need some help. And you could be a part of this.
I'll probably. got my hand in a lot of pots.
As far as unsafe building and tearing buildings down, it's a very expensive proposition. And unless it's budgeted for, or the town is able to manage EDC money or grant money at that level to help with that expense, I think that's what basically is the biggest limiting factor to demolishing those structures that are in poor structural condition.
Well, we will say, I mean, it was the diligence of homeowners in the first place that brought these properties to our attention. So, continued feedback from people in the community that, see these problems helps us to bring light to them and possibly work forward to find a solution.
And I assume you're gonna talk about our favorite property labor.
Yes, yeah, that's on our agenda. Heart of Hagerstown. Gary?
Really, the only thing we've got this month going is we will host the Main Street Coalition for the county. Next Wednesday, we'll have lunch at Willow and Reds and have our monthly meeting there. The Forward Wayne County. And then September 20th, we have our paint collection. That time is confirmed at 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
What's that date again?
September 20th. We'll be at the hardware store,
And what's the hours again?
10 a.m. 2 p.m.
You notice I have some I gotta bring.
Wonder why you're so energetic about that. So those are the two things. We'll start working with Michelle here a little heavier now on Fall Festival now that she's got the Jubilee days over with. Get going on it. And the additional work she needs. A little bit of groundwork there. We may come back and ask for South Plum Street to be closed between Main and Walnut. We've done in past years. So we may ask for that here next month. Just be thinking about if there's any issues or if you guys see any problems with this, let us know. Talking with Michelle just to see if she may need that for overflow, vendor space, anyone to turn out. So that way we can keep them on Main Street, as Main Street merchants, we love people out on the street. Now on Perry, I don't have the traffic in downtown, so Fall Festival is about downtown. So that's what we want to keep.
Any questions? Thank you, sir. Next up, we have ordinance number 12, 2025, the wage and salary ordinance. Billy, you want to give us?
That has the SRO. New salary, I don't know if Keith wants to talk more about that, which starts tomorrow.
Yeah, that, when we renewed our contract with the school a couple years ago, we had built in a set $1,000 a year annual raise for the SROs, which actually begins with the beginning of the new school year. That's why it's now not at the beginning of the year. So that change just reflects that pay increase for them based on that previous contract we already put in place a year or two.
Then there's other ones, first year's people, Nathan. Guys, and then, Brittany is taking Eric's place.
Correct.
But she started full-time last Monday, so we have added her.
And Keith, the contract with the SRO officer, that's just a pass through.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll, at the end of next year, school year, we'll do another 3-year one, but yeah, that's just kind of the standard, nothing, just to make that adjustment. With school starting tomorrow, their new pay rate will take place through this next, school year. And that also just for that, all that cost is absorbed by the school. That's
That's what I said. It's just a pass through.
yeah, exactly. That's not an additional charge or anything to the town. That's just more of a documentation thing.
And when will Nate, Matthias, to start, Chris.
That's on there. It was 16, 19, I don't know. It says in the yellow on the front.
Mm, 7/19.
And then first was 28. Yeah.
I go ahead and make a motion that we accept the ordinance 12-2025 wage and salary ordinance to increase the wages as presented by clerk treasurer.
Second.
And properly moved and seconded that we enact ordinance number 12/2025, the wage and salary ordinance as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? John, we got from Fairfax Woods.
Okay, so the first thing I'll start with, I did a little research on dog ordinances. That was a request from last meeting. So I have some information here, but it's pretty clearly within the jurisdiction of the Parks Board. So I don't know if you want me to draft something and just send it to you guys or the Parks Board, or if you want me to attend the Parks Board meeting and discuss it with that group. What your pleasure is there. We talked about shifting liability. We talked about the control of the dog and having an adult in control of the dog, cleaning up the waste and all that. Found some resources in other towns. So I think I can put something together, but I don't know process how you guys can handle that.
So does the town take on a lot of liability by adding a dog park?
Well, so the ordinance, and I think it was the town of Westfield, they specifically shifted liability in their ordinances and said that, you know, basically using the park at your own risk. That's within the body of the ordinance, that the owner of the dog is responsible for any injury or anything like that.
And that'll stand good, you think?
Should, I mean, I think if it's, you know, if we have a sign and we, you know, subject to Hagerstown town ordinances, something like that, but you know, make that stick.
Well, that moves forward though, isn't it? Something we discussed where there was like fencing involved with that before that moves forward. That wasn't just gonna be a free for all. Here's a sign, this is the dog park. It's gonna have some boundaries to it.
But you're saying that it's up to the discretion of the park board to do that, not us?
Yes, that's my interpretation. Looking at your ordinances, I mean, the Parks Board has jurisdiction over the parks, so you can certainly give them input and influence, but it's really their jurisdiction to manage and set those ordinances with your guidance.
The town says, go forward with it if you want, but if you do it, you're gonna have to put fences up before the
And
town.
you can, yeah, you can guide the park, though. Really, it's a park board, pull it up and give you the exact language, but it's pretty clearly, that's the purpose of the park board is to run the parks.
Who represents us, Chris? So you just need to stress the importance. Our pleasure would be to see a fence.
Right. And they actually will meet, a week from tonight.
I think, you answer, I think it would be beneficial to the Parks Board to have John there as our legal representative, so they can hear the pros and cons and what liabilities they might take on if they don't do this, and they can understand, you know, what's going on.
Just thinking, is the Parks Board responsibility to pay for legal services?
It'll come back on us, but it can come out of their budget, could wipe them out for.
Well, I'm just saying.
Could wipe them out forever.
The John Madison Dog Park.
All kinds of money.
That's right.
Talk about the permit.
I mean, we have a good Parks Board, and I think Chris will represent our wishes. I mean, I think the fence was one thing we was concerned about, our liability was one thing we was concerned about. Dogs being on leash versus running.
So are they ready to move forward with that where they need?
The last time they had a meeting, they were not. They'd run into some hiccups with weather. And, they've got a couple of Boy Scouts that want to do the work for, their project or Eagle Scout. But they had already agreed that nothing that none equipment down there will be like hand built. It's all gonna be commercially manufactured. So, yeah, it's still a work in progress, is my understanding.
And then I think, Bob mentioned that I believe the there should be somebody invited from the Optimist, the president or somebody to represent them to make sure that we're not doing something here that's gonna mess up the soccer play.
We're laying out the soccer fields this week and practice starts next week. So I don't know how that affects everything.
And, yeah, Sean was at the president of the park board was at our last meeting, so he knows everything that was discussed.
Who was?
Sean Lieberman, but he wasn't here, it was Sandy Campbell, who's on the park board, so, you know, they know everything that we talked about.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Sandy Campbell. Sean was supposed to be here, he couldn't make it. So.
What time is the park board meeting?
7 P.M.
Unless I hear different, I'll plan to attend and I'll try to have at least some sort of a model for people to look at and just have an idea what it might look like.
Anything else?
Well, we got the 450 North Plum, but it's set for 7 P.M. So we can go ahead and a little further in the agenda and then decide when it makes sense to come back to it.
Parks and Recreation.
They meet next week.
Police Department, Keith.
Couple things. I just wanted to start mine off if I could get Officer Lowley to come up here. Occasionally, employees, officers, etc., go above and beyond what I consider just a normal day at the office. So with this, come on up here, Wayne. On July 26th, we had for Hagerstown community, we had kind of a definitely not normal situation. We had a vehicle that was going from Chicago to Akron, Ohio. During the passing through our community, that vehicle ended up running from trying to evade a sheriff's deputy, ended up crashing down by auto car on South Washington Street. That female driver then fled on foot, climbed over our town fence into our water plant, and one of our town employees, Crystal Taylor, happened to be there at work doing her weekend testing, and that subject jumped into her vehicle and stole her vehicle. The reason I have Wayne up here is one of the benefits in a small town that I've said all the time, I have background in a larger community, and so many times when something like this happens, officer shows up, takes a report, calls the dispatch, they enter it in the system, and they just go on. Eventually that vehicle's found, who knows where and what condition, but because of the community we're in and why Officer Lowley is being recognized by me tonight is he didn't just do that. He put a lot of effort in. He immediately got information out, not only to our dispatch, he got it into license plate reader system that's throughout the country. He followed up, he just immediately identified who the suspect was, where they were from, where they were going. Ultimately, that license plate reader gave us a quick hit. The suspect was located, arrested in Huber Heights, Ohio within 2 hours. Crystal got her vehicle back intact, no damage, all of her personal belonging inside the vehicle was located, and with that, suspect was arrested. Not only did he not just stop there, he continued working with the prosecutor's office to get necessary paperwork submitted so we could get a hold on that person, get arrest warrants immediately sent to Huber Heights before they were able to bail out, get out of jail there and go on back to wherever. So that individual was end up held, so that we can ensure that, they were held accountable for that. So based on that, in recognition of your outstanding actions and diligence during a vehicle theft investigation on July 26, 2025, while serving the residents of Hagerstown, Indiana, your commitment to duty, swift response reflect great, upon yourself and the Hagerstown Police Department. Thank you very much. Like I said, I believe you went above and beyond that day, and that's what makes Hagerstown great. So, all right. So. Now, just back to normal stuff. We already talked about Jubilee Day, no issues. Again, we just had a couple, mishaps with some of the no parking areas. We'll take care of that for next year. Next year also is gonna be the first year that I'm gonna have to resubmit a new, permit with NDOT for that. The last couple of years, they've allowed me just to extend our current one, that we've had on record. They're gonna require a new one, just because it's been a couple of years plus with all the changes in some of the demographics, we're gonna have to make some adjustments to detour routes, et cetera. So we'll get that taken care of next year. Again, school starts tomorrow. This will be our 5th year since we've began our SRO program. We'll have an SRO at both high school and elementary again tomorrow. Program's going great, been a success. July was pretty much a normal call volume for us, but I say that every month. So this year I just want to let you know, I pulled up a normal call volume month for us, was about 170 calls. So that's kind of a normal month for us, just so that you keep hearing me always say normal. Now you know what our normal is, about 175 calls a month. And that's calls to service that go through the dispatch center. That's not counting the 4 or 5 a week where somebody just walked into town hall, et cetera. But that's the ones that actually make it into the call center and make it into our statistics, through the communication center. And, all I got. Anybody else have anything? On? Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Fire department, Rick.
Yeah, our report up there. We were hoping our run would stay low, but, of course, July they started going back up. I was finished with 20 runs for the month, so I was up like 10 compared to the previous month. Of course, the EMS runs continue to lead the way on everything, so. The station, I know we approved, or you guys approved the quote to replace our approaches out. Finding out about a week or two later, that the contractor was putting his business up for sale and was moving back to Pennsylvania. He did state that he'd be able to do our project, but we asked him. I was kind of concerned about if he did it and then he moved back to Pennsylvania and something went wrong, who's going to cover the warranty on the project? We met with him, he agreed, and he just agreed with draw his name from the project. So we were looking at doing another quote or getting another quote. We approached the other contractors, and one of them, they were asked why they didn't quit it. Of course, we said, you didn't beat this, you were way over budget or way over the cost of what and they agreed to lower their cost. And it's Danny Davis Excavation and Concrete. They agreed to lower their bid down to $28,000 for the job. They would be able to start by October, which hopefully had to be done by the end of October. So then again, it's up to you, and I recommend that we do resubmit everything and do that, that's not a problem, so. But, the other contractor, would not lower their quote, so. That's it on that in the state, so.
What was the price of the other contractor? Do you remember? You know the price of the other contractor, what it was? I've got it written down somewhere, just not in front of me.
Don't have, work with me. I can send you that all that information.
24,800 by Peaceful Acres and 14,800. Oh, no, that was Peaceful.
Yeah.
That's not a distance.
I think it's, office out of,
Ben Stolfus.
by Los Angeles.
Yeah.
What are the legalities on that, John, since it's a bid that
So failed bid,
right?
I don't want to give you a quick answer. I may need to check into that. If you want to accept, if you want to proceed with the next bid, subject to legal counsel approval, you can probably do that, and I can confirm if that's okay. If it's not, we could revisit it next month and get this start cheap to get another quote.
There were three submittals then, and then there was. Peaceful Acres obtained that by the bid, and the next lowest one was. Danny Day,
Yeah.
and it was still too high, and you went back to him and he lowered it, or was there, has there been changes to the?
We went back and they did lower their price.
Was that before or after you found out that Peaceful Acres was going to go out of business?
Of after that, we found out that they weren't gonna be able to do it. No, I don't deal that way, I don't, they quit, or when they did, I've done it for years where I work, so. I don't go out and start telling people, hey, this is bid, can you lower your cost? I don't do that. They submit their bid, and if that's what they bid, that's what they bid. Now, after, like I said, after you accept it and the situation, we did go back and ask them if they, here's why you didn't get the quote. And would you be interested in lowering it? Beat this guy because he didn't go out of business.
I guess I would say move forward, on the recommendation that John has given us. So Rick can at least move forward. And like you said, he'll look into it. And Rick, if we have to redo it, then John will let you know.
Okay, that's fine.
Awesome.
These contractors we talked about, just like any job, is when you start tearing stuff out, they have an clue what's underneath that. It's a 4-inch core. That's how thick that is. And that's lasted since the 1950s when they built that building, 20-some years, 30-some years. So they don't know if there's rebar that are gonna have to be ripped out or what, so. There's a chance down the road, if they do start tearing it out, they run into an issue, they might come back and they unforeseen circumstances, they have to increase it. And, a lot of contractors do, if you've ever been in that bit, it's hard to look in to see what's under this. Hopefully, it stays there, that's where it's at.
I'll second Brian's motion.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we accept the next bid on the grounds that our legal authority has the check over that. And it's good to go. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? All abstain.
Township agreement, I did get with Chris. Talking about get together, and then he has to be back and say, hey, so you need to wait till the council president gets back, and I've not heard anything else from him. Training, July 18th, 19th, we sent some guys out to Keystone, Walnut Level out there for grain bin training. The guys actually were, putting down a side of grain car and fill up grain. We rescued them, we were taught how to get them out of there when they were covered with grain. So we went through this training several years ago, but a lot of the new guys did not have that training. So, and it was well attended by the agri department in the county. So we are going to also apply for a grant to buy some rescue equipment that they had on display that we actually use out there. Keep on our trucks, but you know that, rural farming community, where that's in our jurisdiction out there, will be the first trucks in if something happened. So, I'm trying to apply for a grant person for that. And so I got.
I met with Chris Lamb this afternoon, and he is going to, acting as a liaison, send information from the advisory board on their recommendations to move forward. And then once I have that, I'll share that out to Rick and everybody on the council, and we can move forward with that.
Yeah, I would like to get involved in this, okay? I mean, I was under my impression that this stuff was almost a done deal, and I was never involved in any of it. And, you know, we chief owns. But when it comes to doing a contract with, you know, agreements like that with Township Fire Protection, you think that somebody would have contacted me and say, hey, this is what I do, this is not one. So it really kind of irritates me that. So. You know, Alan, that you cannot vote on that because you're council president, under state statute, you cannot be involved in it. So.
Any questions, comments?
So can I understand? So Chris's board is bringing their recommendation to this board for us to determine if we want to accept that then.
From their contract, yes.
So it's a recommendation from their board.
Yes, from the advisor, yeah.
Do we know when we're gonna receive that?
He said for the next 24 hours, so not sure about. Airport board, Mike.
Still waiting on a response from the FAA for the, P2. I checked on it again today.
You said a year, so I.
Yeah, that's what it took. For I keep checking. We did have to have the phone line replaced. The last windstorm actually took down the cable, so it actually came out fairly quick and replaced it. I was kind of impressed. Usually doesn't happen. But along those lines, the phone is required by the FAA and NDOT. August is usually the month they come and inspect us. So they did it just in time. I do need to get with you. Last year, the inspector mentioned that the trees on the north end might be getting tall. So we need to kind of look into that. He might say they're too tall this year and next year, so we can plan on that. So it's the only thing I've got.
So I guess it affects you. So on that, so in Rick's report to us, if you notice that on the fireworks, I guess the airport just got too crowded to, we had to turn people away. They couldn't come in. Is there any way next year that a group or is there some way you think we could strategically park and fit more vehicles into the airport?
We have in the past.
We have Hartford this year, people volunteer to help people park.
Well, just hang on just a minute. So I want.
In the past, they put 5 rows of cars. There were 3 this year. So in the past, they've actually just packed in more cars and told people where to park rather than them just pulling and park wherever they want type of thing. A lot of the times this year, they were having like extra spaces so that set all their stuff up. Where in the past, they were forced to set up either in front of or behind their vehicle in the rows, in the empty spaces during fireworks. So we've actually fit a lot more cars in the past.
So you don't have a problem if we fit more cars? There's not an issue bringing more cars.
We love for everybody to show up.
So it was more of a parking demographic issue about getting the cars parked. And so Keith, you want to make a comment?
Yeah, some of the discussion I've had with a couple other people is one of the issues we run into every year is we do fireworks on the 4th of July. And with that, a lot of other communities adjust their fireworks to better benefit what they think the community, like whether not doing it during the week, doing it on the weekends, etc. So what that has caused is we run into the issue to where we seem to always be doing it on a night where the only community in the area doing it. So we get a huge overflow from other communities. So one of the things that I've been considering is maybe following suit with the other communities and maybe doing hours on a Saturday night when all the other communities are also doing it, that might alleviate some of the issues we've ran into the last couple of years.
The biggest problem I see with that is getting the people to power test.
And that was something that has come up, for sure. And that might be something, you know, moving forward that halts that plan. But that's an idea that I was wanting to throw out there of maybe looking into, because that might curtail is some of the amount of people showing up from other communities in the last couple of years that has caused an issue for us.
So let's assume we keep it on the 4th of July, just that assumption, and we're gonna get a big crowd. Would we be better off to have adults that have been at a meeting that understands exactly how the parking is going to be, how we're gonna line it up, and people with authority there that say, listen, you know, if you're gonna have your grill or your whatever, which I don't care whether they do or not, needs to be in front of your car, back of your car, you can't take spaces beside. Somebody that has a little bit more authority so that we keep it a little bit more organized. If we can't get it off the 4th, that comes back, because it sounds like if we strategically did our parking better than we did this year, we can get more vehicles in there, and the airport has no problem with that.
Might be beneficial to just mark off parking rows.
Maybe we could just see if the Little League would let us use their line markers, and
Actually, it's in the hangar, you just take it.
That's another issue we run into every year is, you know, I'll say I just don't have the staff to be able to control parking and all that. So we've relied on organizations in the past. With that, you don't have,
yeah, I think.
you know, so that's kind of the issue. we're in.
Yeah, and I'm not asking, you know, the police force to do that, but I think if we had a group of adults that are willing to come to a meeting and understand how this parking's gonna be, and maybe we do some lineage, give them direction, and we have a little bit of help. I mean, whether it be the fire department or the police department, a little bit of help with people with authority that help us make sure if somebody wants to get a little argumentative or say, I'm not gonna do that, then we have a little bit of support. But, you know, people wanna come to Hagerstown, it's good to have lots of people to Hagerstown, it's always positive. And, you know, I've seen that in Rick's report, so if we can improve on it, we can, because you might not be able to move it. If you can, it'll probably eliminate some of that, but if we can't, we need to maybe have a planning meeting a couple weeks in advance and try to.
And the group that we had reach out to do it this year has stated that they would be willing to do it moving forward. So with that also, they got a year under their belt. We can build on that. You know, the more experience they have doing it, the smoother that whole process goes. Because they were kind of thrown into it
Last
3 or 4 days before the event also. So moving forward, utilizing the same group, that was always what was nice in the past, is we always had the local scout that participated. They did it every year, so they pretty much had it down. And when that went away, starting kind of back over, so.
I just see Rick's comment, and I know it went well and everybody was happy, and the airport's always gracious to let us use it, so
It was
just,
turning away the last 2 years.
so if we can maybe help, I don't know how we do that. but
And this is going back a number of years, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if you were involved with it, but I believe when we had the Model T event, and that was back in like 2008, I think they had marked parking spaces down.
Yeah, we have lines.
Yeah.
I think probably we can get some people to
Law enforcement.
help us do that and do it better, maybe try. Excellence is always what we're pursuing, right? Excellence.
Advisory Plan Commission.
We had a meeting and I think, where did time go? Tom talked about a few different properties. There was one out west somewhere that was like a grain bin of some sort, and they tried to turn it into a house, like a little tiny house. And I think ultimately we decided that that's ended up being a county issue because it's within the 2-mile fringe, but, can't think of, I didn't bring my notes with me, I forgot. Hopefully your memory is better than my notes.
Yeah, I think, yeah, Tom had some suggestions for us, and we're trying to get behind and support Tom and trying to make sure that we kind of get, unsafe buildings, projects that's going up, making sure that they're getting done to code properly. So, you know, this is a big change, you know, we went from, we went a period of time where we didn't have a building commissioner. So, you know, it's just kind of free for all. People could do whatever they wanted to do and they weren't accountable to anything. And now we have one, and Tom's been very professional, and he's very, he wants to just see the law, you know, the ordinances be followed and be correct. And sometimes that's not always positive for those hearing it, but I think he tries to do a good job trying to bridge that. And we're just trying to make sure that Plan Commission, we got things put in place that allows him to do his job in a proper way. That didn't put him in a bad spot, not overstepping our citizens, not putting them in a bad spot, but we're just trying to get that to all come together. I think you got it.
So it was a fairly short meeting, but,
Yeah.
And just to kind of echo what he said, he's done a lot of work, and, I know sometimes, you know, not every property can be seen, but I know that he's been very proactive at looking at different properties and making sure that they're safe, and I greatly appreciate that.
Chris, your report.
Yeah, wastewater treatment plant, we're working on having some televising, performed on our sewage lines. We haven't done that for a while, and the companies that do that are few and far between, so, it's something we're trying to get back up to speed with. We are, as we're doing that, updating our map with, Gucci and Wayne County GIS. We found that there were some lines that they had drawn onto our maps that don't exist, and likewise some that exist that weren't on our map. So we're just trying to get everything coordinated there. Another thing that we're, working on doing is numbering all of our manholes, and also trying to get a GIS or GPS coordinate with each of the manholes in town. So that's kind of a big project. That way, if one happens to get paved over or something, we'll know right where it's at. So that's something we're working on. I think Keith already covered the excitement there, Crystal Jeep wastewater treatment plant. The water department, I'm just going to touch on these, and then Bob Corner is going to fill us in. We are waiting on the IDEM permit, as you're aware. We have received some project submittals, which Bob has been reviewing, and I think there's also a pay request from Indiana Earthworks up there on the table. And Bob had some additional information on the pay request and just the permitting that we need to do. Bob, you want to take that over?
Okay, on the pay request, when I was reviewing it, I noticed there was a mistake, so they submitted a new one to me. It was a $20,000 item. So I don't know how that will affect anything you want to do tonight, but I also want to review all the materials that have arrived down there and make sure it lines up with what is included on this pay request. So I plan to take a look at that too. And then also along with this, for Mike Pine Peter and everything, we need those Buy America, Build America certificates. So I want to make sure that those are all in order with all these materials that this pay request is for. So that still needs to occur. I mean, the pay request could be approved based on that all being in line, so.
Is your total different than what we've got listed in the agenda?
It'll be 18,000 more because there was 2,000 more in retainage. It was $20,000 was the difference. 2,000 would be retainage, so my request was 18,000 more
Unless we get.
On here, on this.
on this, yes.
So what, is this what I'm looking at, application for, so what's the number they're asking for?
The 221,975.
Oh, okay, and you're saying it's gonna be 18,000 more, Bob,
Yes,
so it's 130,000?
so their request is 239,975.10.
Well, I thought it was 221,975.
He's adding
Oh,
18,000.
okay,
Adding
okay.
18,000.
Oh,
What was it again?
239,975.10.
Look, on my agenda, it says 22,190.
I know, well,
that's it. That was what they submitted. that Bob said they wanted to say. Oh,
On the agenda.
oh,
move the comma.
I see.
Okay,
So it'll be 200.
yes, 239,975.10.
I don't know, man, until that's right, until we got paperwork.
I thought Bob said he brought a revised.
I have a revised one. But you don't know what. How you want to do it.
I think Bob and I talked briefly before the meeting, and if you were to say something approved based on town manager and the engineer's inspection of goods that have been delivered, something like that, that would probably be good, just to make sure that he's getting paid, but we're also getting
Yeah,
it
but
correct.
I think part of that, he said there was an error in this request. It's, I mean, that's what you said, it was. 20, it needs to be $20,000, $18,000 more.
Right? Which I talked to him and he sent out a new one
And you've got it.
and I got it.
Okay.
So can we have that or a copy of that?
Yeah, we want that in the.
Yeah, I think we need a copy of that and then make a motion to not accept this one and,
Except the claims as amended, or the claim as amended.
yeah, claim as amended. Yeah, I think we need to get that one on record.
Yeah, I feel better about that.
So did you make a motion for that?
No, I haven't made a
Okay,
motion.
all right. When you said make a motion, I didn't know.
Well, I think we need to get that, yeah, get the other one in to make that motion. Yeah. Where are they storing all their supplies, Bob?
Down across from the railroad tracks, next to the wastewater
Okay.
plant.
But I got a question then, if we approve this and you go through it, you do your inventory control or whatever it is you're gonna do. Are you gonna have that done before the check's written, or, I mean, if we approve this and all this isn't done, or if there's a significant mistake down there. Where are we at with that? I mean, that's, to me, that's wrong. I'm just gonna say it, that's wrong until somebody tells us what's in that paperwork is legit and it's right, and I don't think that needs to go through. That's just my opinion. And but I'm not saying, I mean, you said you've got to do some inventory control and you need to make sure other paperwork's in line. Then what if there's something wrong with that? And then here we said, we've already approved this month.
That payment, yeah.
Well, I mean, I would say your approval is based on mine and Chris checking it to make sure that it is right. And if it's not, it doesn't get paid.
Okay,
So. 'cause I
that's how
have
the
this-
motion needs to be worded then, pending approval of the engineer and the town manager.
And you want to know when,
Then they have like 3 days, I think, because he's taking it out of the Oprah monies. That's what Mike said.
yeah, so, yeah, that's kind of tricky. We got to use the Okra money.
I have to, he said that once they sign it, that I have to email it to him and then he's gonna email me, it's okay to do that, and then we'll get the money, and then I gotta write the check.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky, that Okra money. We have to use it one time, right? Got to get it used up in one time.
Yeah, how much, I thought it was 750.
Yeah, but we don't have much, we don't have most of that money. Well, we're getting the whole we're spending the rest of the money that's left. Have we not received any of that money?
We don't get the Oprah money. We have to pay it, then they, or we don't pay it, but we okay it. Then I send it to Mike and then they send us the money and then I have 3 days to write the check.
But there's not $750,000 there.
No.
Yeah, right.
But Mike wanted to use the Oprah money.
I think Mike wants to get it all used up. You know, not send $2,000 bill here and a $3,000. And I think this will probably clean it out is what Mike's saying. This is going to get it pretty well cleaned out.
So if we do the motion that they're talking about tonight, is there enough time for those two to confirm everything before you? Right.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll meet on site tomorrow and check things out. I've already emailed Mike about the Buy America, Build America to talk to him about what we need to do, so that want to move forward with that too.
I drove by and looked down there one evening last week and it looked like they already delivered some water main and stuff, but that gate was standing open. And if we're buying millions of dollars worth of material to go into that project, that needs to be secured.
Probably.
So. I'm gonna make the motion that we accept the amended application for payment from Earthworks for $239,975.10 upon the completion of Chris and Bob doing the inventory, making sure everything is there. Once they are in agreement that everything is proper for this payment, they will notify Julie that she can notify Okra.
And just to let you know, I have had the conversation with Scott Fisher that we need to get the pay request in sooner so we can have all this done before you guys ever see it.
That's what I was gonna hopefully recommend, when we do that, because I'm
Yeah,
not comfortable proving things aren't right. for
Put in-
$200,000.
Then I can check,
Yeah.
make sure everything's done, for the pay request, sign it and go forward.
Give me a second.
That's my motion.
I'll second.
Been properly moved and seconded that we accept the invoice from Indiana Earthworks for
That amended it.
the amended invoice for $239,975.10 upon the completion of checks by our town manager and project engineer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Anything else?
Yeah, I think Bob also had a pay request for his insurance services that he turned in. I think, I see right in front of you there, Alan. See, our electric department, we have officially purchased, I guess, rather than officially took delivery, officially purchased the newer bucket trucks. So we have that working out great. The light pole on the west side of town, was replaced by Burns Corporation right Friday of Jubilee days.
I got a question on.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that's a $20,000 project.
4,500.
So I was down here and I asked them,
Mm-hmm.
and they said the pole was 10,000. And they counted a day and a half worth of labor because they didn't know if they were gonna have to pull wires or not.
Mm-hmm.
So did that happen? Did they pull wires? Did they, I mean, what, if it's $14,000 to install a pole? Is that what I'm hearing?
Was that just the pole or was that the light? The light,
The pole, the arm and the light fixture were all three destroyed on it, plus it ripped out some of the wire. If you notice the 2 or 3 lights are right in front of Ed Robbins' house were on that too, and they haven't been working since.
They haven't?
They haven't been working since the accident. Now everything is working down through there. So.
So they had to pull the wires? It didn't look like any of the others got.
I honestly don't know.
Okay. I just wondered. Because none of the other poles look like they've been tampered with,
Mhm.
and I would have thought if they were underground wires, there would have been some sort of disturbance where they went and put new wires in there. It'd be interesting to see a detailed invoice on that.
I
That's.
think there was the initial invoice that was, turned in for insurance and see, we still haven't been paid for insurance by that. I just wanted to have it replaced by Jubilee Days.
Yeah, no, I get it. No, I get it.
And insurance is actually hung up on whose property the 30-mile-per-hour speed limit sign was, because they want to make sure they get reimbursed for that. And NDOT is saying it wasn't theirs, it wasn't Hagerstown's. So, yeah, that's what they say is holding them up, although that was replaced almost instantly, so.
Not really when you try to put something on.
Yes. So, and the streets department also were assisting with setting up, tearing down for Jubilee Days. Did hire Brittany Wagner to replace Eric Miller, who's retiring. We've had issues with the street sweeper, the air conditioning, and the curb room outlets have since been repaired. Painting curbs, spring week, same thing we've been doing all summer. Let's see here. I am working on Forward Wayne County. If you remember last spring, they met with the community exam, and then they went and had a meeting at the school, trying to identify feasible grant projects for each of the communities. So I'm working with them on trying to obtain money for developing patio homes in Hagerstown. That would be on our small property that we own across from the country club. The second thing, creating a trail back through the Red Tail Hawk easement. We also have an easement along the canal for Army Corps of Engineers. And then the third thing would be some improvements to the Senior Citizen Center, as they have very little money for their budget. The last item here, I still have not found any paperwork on Trademark Construction's request, and I did discuss it with Bob, and he doesn't recall anything either for that specific amount. And that's Trademark, that project's going back, that even predated Keith and Bob on Conifer Drive.
Yes.
So that's going back 2 town meetings ago, so.
I guess they need to, produce that contract.
They've emailed me a contract, but it still didn't say anything about that. I'm wrong.
Can I send you a contract and ask for some money? I just think that's kind of a dead subject.
So, on the flip side though, is there have we established a protocol? We've done that on all the other houses that have been in there? And if so, does that hold water? If the other houses and lots were in there and they received the 14,000 or whatever it is, this money is, they claim is coming. We've got a past practice established here. Is that gonna hold water even without a contract?
We have not done that on any of the other houses. I think the only thing that we have had, correct me if I'm wrong, but they do not pay the tap fee for sewage water. Obviously, there's no electric. I think,
So,
because that's already all been pretty much installed.
so if we haven't established a past practice, unless they come up and say, hey, by the way, here's the check that you wrote on these other houses that we put in here.
Correct.
Until either past practice has been established or we've got a contract, I'm not seeing we get paid.
Okay, which I would agree with that, which, one thing like Savannah Estates past practice has been installing an underground service line to the house, which we don't do anywhere else in town, but that is something that we did with, Chris Wall Homes, and they were working on Savannah Estates, so that's a past practice.
Anything else?
With Chris, just really quick, I got to stop by the other day and talk with him for a little bit. One of the topics of discussion was there's some people that that try to clean up their properties with sticks and small limbs and stuff like that, but they don't have anywhere to take them in town. One of the ideas that Chris and I talked about was in Cambridge at the cemetery. They kind of cleared out a little spot in the back, but they let people go there, and then every once in a while the town burns it. So I didn't know what anyone else's ideas were on trying to figure out an idea for that.
I think we were discussing, yeah, we try to encourage people to maintain their trees, to cut their tree branches, but once it's cut, then where do they take it? Because Best Way doesn't want it. We tell people after a storm, drag out branches that have broken off of a tree. So where are people supposed to take their stuff when they are trying to maintain, their lots?
I don't know if this is something we would want to get involved with, but at one time Centerville had a chipper and people could take their tree limbs and stuff, the town would chip them and make mulch, and then they made that mulch available to the citizens for beautification of the property free of charge. But I don't know if we want to invest in the chipper and stuff to do that. That's just what I think.
We have a chipper now, so yeah, we could probably do something.
That's not fair.
The problem is there's people that can't get it to the chipper.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the problem. I mean, that's the thing that you guys run into when people drag them out in the middle of the street or on the sidewalk, everything. When they're not supposed to, then that creates that extra work for you guys.
And we do the spring or possibly even fall cleanup where, it is for cut tree branches. Maybe we do that, maybe 3 times a year once. I know Gary and I have had this discussion a little bit too. Maybe we do it spring, summer and fall, allow 3 opportunities for people to drag out cut branches. I don't know.
I don't get that idea. Plus the storm, right? Then after a storm, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's just that's it.
Wish the town take their tree to breed.
We take our tree debris down to the airport, and the airport in the past had been kind of a dumping site for all the town, but it's gotten way too full. We can't anymore, just throw our own stuff down there.
It was just an idea we discussed.
Julie, what do you have from our dad or from your desk for us?
I have that Bob's invoice that we did.
I make a motion that we accept the invoice from Warner Engineering LLC for $3,350 for work performed in the month of July.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded, then we have an invoice by Warner Engineering for $3,350 for work on the water project. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I didn't know if we wanted to talk about what Bill had brought up about the budget and you guys have that, about like 2 of you meeting department heads. If that was good. What you thought about that?
And not in place of a budget meeting or budget hearing, just do individual meeting.
And then you have 2, so then we don't have to.
Right.
Or
That's gonna be tough to do that, but 12, 13 hours a day, 6 days a week.
I can try to, if you want 2 to meet, I can try to work it in my schedule to come back and do it. Or if we could do it early in the morning, I wouldn't have to go to Richmond and come back, I'd just do it before. I just need a little notice. I know a lot of you's in school, back in school, and that's hard, but I can make my schedule work to do that if that's what you want to do.
Not for no brain.
because we need to know the next meeting, that the hearing on the.
For approval in October, right?
Yes.
Anybody have any opposition to this?
Try it, but if it doesn't, I mean.
Well, I mean, you can meet and then we could send an email.
Can we do maybe a summary of what we met with and bring it out so that everybody's aware?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna make any final decisions, we're just going to concerns, ideas, thoughts, and maybe just send that out and let all of you, and then people can respond back. Email them
I
back.
don't see anything wrong with that.
Yes.
Anything else?
Yes. Oh, Bob,
Comment too. on the water line project, we're still waiting on the IDEM permit. And that, I don't know how long that permit is going to take. I also, in conversations 3 weeks ago, was told that the NDOT permit was already in hand, and then last week, late last week, Chris learned, no, it's not, there is no NDOT permit yet. The reasoning was, we're only replacing a pump, so we don't need one, but we are installing an 8-foot by 4-foot generator on State Road 38 right of way. Chris had to get a sign, a permit for a sign that was put up out there. So I'm thinking we need a permit through NDOT. So I'm in the process of trying to get that verified. So just to let you know where that's at. But then ultimately, you know, until we have the permits, Fisher or Indiana or excavation, earthworks, sorry, Indiana Earthworks can't start work. So the time frame that's in their contract now theoretically should be extended by the town. That's, I believe that's what should happen. We don't know how long until we know when we get permits. But then it's starting to affect the whole project because they wanted to get it done by early November because the paving companies close around mid-November. So if we can't get the pavers in here in mid-November, then the streets are gonna be torn up all winter long, which creates more of a hassle. They were planning on being done in this time frame. So I just want to let you know that and let you know that I think the contractor's time frame needs to be extended based on all of this that is clearly not anything to do with his fault.
Yeah. So Bob, on the permits, I know the one, the IDM permit, I mean, we're waiting on it. It's in there. We're waiting on it.
That is correct.
We should be able to start when we get that. The generator, that's something that's towards the end, right?
It could really be any time. It's independent of the rest of the.
Well, I don't know if I'll have enough money to even put it in yet.
Okay,
So I think that's because we was gonna prioritize our project, you know, do the most important things first. If we started running out of money or cost got more than what we thought it could be, you know, there were certain things that we would put off. The generator was one of them. So I would like to get the IDM thing, get started, get your feedback. Do we have our materials here? Are they right? Are they in the budget? We was kind of thinking if we're in the budget that we think we can proceed with that generator, then go ahead and submit that permit for that, knowing that it will be put in later. I mean, we won't put it in until we get the permit.
the permit, I think, should be applied for regardless.
But if we get caught back, I understand that. But if we get caught and we throw this project back and then materials go up 600, 700, you know, they go up astronomical because I don't think that's possible, but they said from September to January, that was our engineering, that they went up 30% in a 2-month period. So, you know, I don't want to get us caught where all of a sudden our 2.7 million project becomes a 4.2 million project. And now we can only do half of it because we're still waiting for permits. And I'm not blaming anybody in the room. I think we all know who should have had the permits in. They're not in. But I don't want to jeopardize I know the IDM permit has to be in place, but if we never, so let me ask you a question. If we never put in that generator, did we need that permit?
No, but if we need it and then we have to wait 3 months for it, I mean, if we get it, it's.
Gonna hurt to apply for it.
Well, no, I didn't say we couldn't apply for it, but I don't want to hold up the project for
Based on
that.
that, man.
No, right, we wouldn't.
Okay,
That we wouldn't hold up the project. I think we should apply for it, have it, that way if we need it. we'll have
Okay,
it.
I was understanding the earthworks didn't want to start until they got all the,
No, this has nothing to do with them.
okay.
Sorry, I'm saying we need to get this permit.
Oh,
I'm also saying they are saying that the IDEM permit is the one that's holding them up.
You're right.
That's all, that's the one holding them up.
I would have to look at that contract and see when they're supposed to be done. It's sometime next year, right?
It is. So, yes, and they should certainly make that, but things can happen. So they just wanted on record, I had that conversation with Scott Fisher also, that, you know, there's time in here that he wanted to start 3 weeks ago. And he couldn't, so there is time in here that isn't his fault if that contract would need to be extended the time frame. So because he's got liquidated damages.
I think we would be fair to him, you know.
I agree, I think you would too, but I just wanted on the record here to let you know what he's thinking.
Are we gonna address the fact that IDM paperwork did not get filed in a timely manner?
We paid him, haven't we?
A substantial amount of money too.
Yeah, so, it might cost us more to hire him than what we'll get back.
Well, I mean, it's something that can be
evaluated.
What? It's already paid.
No, but if they have to pay our legal fees back to get our money
Oh.
back. I mean, seriously, I mean, it's caused, that's caused an issue, not just with us, it caused an issue with the construction company who has other projects in line, who's committed. And then, you know, and it's like you said, what happens, we end up the cost increase with something because of a 30-day, 45-day delay. I don't know. I mean,
I'm not happy about
how much money did we give
it.
them?
Do you remember how much it was for the filing of the permits?
Yeah, well.
So Chris, did Trinidad ever respond back as to what happened or what the issue was, or they just say they?
They said they didn't feel that we needed them, was the initial email.
If it was an in-kind change, you know, saying everything was put back, it says you don't need a permit, but if you expand capacity or anything like that, you need a permit. Well, larger pipes are being installed back, things like that, so that's, you know.
I just,
Talked to Ivan. Boone and said, "Get
yeah,
out
I
there."
gotta think they're engineers. I mean, Bob figured it out in a matter of a day. They had 8 months to figure it out,
And we still paid them $7,000.
7,500. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to recoup that.
I agree.
I do. I mean, out of principle alone, we're just gonna shoot $7,500 out the door and be unaccountable for it.
We'll just make a motion to have him do it, and then we'll see if we can get it approved.
Send them a letter telling them we want our money back. Let's make a motion.
I'll second.
Start that process. That's ridiculous.
Motion is second.
Probably isn't that. There you go. Then we move forward with
Recouping the
David
7,500.
Cathy, council reaching out for $7,500 for the legal fee or the permit fees and related to the project. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I'm in that. Oh, and you said the legal fees, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, go ahead. I'll lie it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
I mean, seriously though, I mean, we got Bob who attends these meetings. We're holding him accountable. And he's bringing the pay in here, so. I mean. There's no reason just because they're in Fishers or Carmel or wherever, that we don't try to get that money back.
Anything else?
I have one more thing. So I don't know if you all received it. I didn't look at my email close enough to see, but we was sent out this email from Brandon Sanders concerning the possible will tax by the county.
Yeah, very forward. Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody got that. So, okay, nobody likes taxes, but under that, what, the Bill 101 or whatever, they're gonna they think everything's gonna be free, so they're gonna reduce our property taxes, but what they failed to do is, when they make that change, basically community crossing matching grants are under fire, whether they will be, funded. That's basically how we pave our streets every year. They pay what, 2/3 of it, 70% of it, 3/4, and so that's gone out of the bill. Your paving projects, bridges, culvert replacements, that's all in jeopardy with this bill. So the tricky thing, a town under 5,000, okay, which is us, okay, we have no say, we have no right under the Indiana laws to put in a wheel tax. So Richmond can, all the small communities around here can't, so we have to depend upon the county to implement a county wheel tax. And they're having a meeting Thursday evening, I believe. Pretty sure it's Thursday evening, which I'm more than happy to attend that, but I guess they're wanting feedback from the communities. The county is, are we in favor of a wheel tax? Are we not in favor of a wheel tax? And we just try to figure out how we make up this money, because in 2026, your general budget is gonna be cut back a lot,
Do we know how much?
Like 97,000.
97,000.
Our budget.
Yes.
So we just spent 26,000 on paving, so 75,000 approximately come from this. So if this is lost, now you're losing $90,000, plus you're losing the community crossing that share of it.
Do we know that? Because when I had conversation this weekend. And my whole problem with this whole wheel tax thing is they're taking steps to reduce our taxes on one thing, and then the county's gonna come around and hit us with a tax on the other.
We're gonna get the town, or us, the town.
So,
Get.
yeah, so how that would go if they get the maximum, there's a maximum rate, there's a minimum rate, okay? So the minimum rate would be, we would receive $9,800, which definitely won't replace the community crossings.
9,800.
9,800 a year. Yeah, that's all the wheel tax we would get. If you do the maximum, it's $70,000. I know wheel taxes aren't popular, but, you know,
That's robbing Peter to pay Paul.
well, that's what that whole bill was.
Well, I don't care if somebody's passed the bill, that's fine. But on the flip side of it is, we haven't even tried to live within that budget. We're already trying to change taxes on perceived, possible, maybe cost increases.
So I'm saying we're not in favor of the wheel tax.
No, I'm not in favor. I don't know about everybody else. No. I'm not. And that's very unpopular with the county officials. Trust me, had a nice conversation.
No tax is popular.
No, but they're wanting it.
The way I'm looking at it, we just raised our utility rates for our citizens out of necessity to upgrade our infrastructure. And now they want us to tack on a tax on top of that.
It's part of that is priority and spending, looking at the budget. When we come in $97,000 short, okay, now we gotta really have a meeting and sit down about it and not sit, and just put it on autopilot, because we have just put it on autopilot before, right?
Yeah.
And we're getting ready to put it on autopilot again. So to come in and say, we're gonna be $97,000 short, and then and then this is just me, it's not council, me to support a wheel tax we haven't even tried to live within that budget yet. If we try to live within that budget and it doesn't work, then maybe we revisit that at some point in time. I mean, we can't, but the county.
We can't.
I know, but that was my argument with them. I said, we haven't even tried to live within the proposed budget. is priority in spending. And yes, know what, we may not be able to paint yellow curbs next year. Maybe have to do it every other year, every 3 years. I don't know. We just haven't tried to live within it, and we're automatically wanting to raise taxes on throw taxes onto something else. Not saying that maybe in the future we might have to. And again, maybe their thought process is we're gonna get ahead of the game to avoid that. And I said, we haven't even tried. And you're already trying to raise taxes. That was my discussion over the weekend, which was very popular.
Anybody at, Chris, yours feel the same way? Everybody else same way?
Yeah.
So if I go to meeting Thursday night, then we are not in favor of the wheel tax.
Not at this time. You know, I agree with what Donnie said, you know, let's see how next year goes. Maybe we can trim some stuff out of our expenditures and get by with that, with losing that money. If we find out we're gonna need to increase revenue, then we can go back and revisit that. But I think it's poor timing that, you know, we just raised everybody's electric rates by 51%.
And they're taking steps to try to reduce property taxes, so we'll save on that, but then we turn around and so this, I just don't. And again, I may not be fully informed of the impact of that, but just what I was being told was it just didn't set well.
Taxes don't set well.
No.
They don't let your opinion.
With Donnie on this one, I mean, we haven't tried to look this way, so
Yeah. Back, Kelly.
So what happens if the county implements a wheel tax, even though you guys don't support it?
We don't have it. We'll still get our portion.
I think you don't have an option.
I mean, it has to be by state law. It has to be divvied up.
So we'll end up with it anyway, county, I mean,
Or are they gonna take a bigger percentage for the county?
No, it's based upon based upon population, it has an allocation that they have to come up to the 100%. So Hagerstown allocation is 1.9% of the tax.
So county can't manipulate because you guys don't support, they'll, oh, here's your $1,000.
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that you didn't want.
We can only increase what we get.
No, we're under 5,000 people. We have no say. We have to go along with the county. We have no
But
say.
if you vote for it, you can increase.
No.
No.
All we're saying is the county wanted to know, are the communities in favor of it or not in favor of it?
So they can decide whether they want to proceed with it, right?
Right, so we have no say in the percentage, we have no say in the rates. That's all designated by state and county. Now, Richmond could get a double win. Richmond the county could put a tax on, Kelly, and then Richmond, the town of Richmond, they're over 5,000 people, they can implement their own tax as well, so they could get revenue twice. But we are under 5,000, we cannot do that. And I believe Richmond, I'm looking at this, yeah, Richmond is the only town in our county that has that possibility, that they can put a town tax and they can go along the county tax. Now, if the county tax gets voted down, then Richmond could introduce their own wheel tax and they could get a revenue that way. That's all on that, but I'm kind of like Donnie, what I've heard from the county commissioners, they're pushing hard for it, so I don't really know if it matters what the small communities, but they ask us to come and voice our opinion, so.
Look, I know it's gonna be difficult. I mean, I'm not saying it's not, I mean, and we may end up having, just not favorite now, I mean, no one has tried to live within that budget yet.
Well, the one thing it might do is if they see a lot of communities aren't in favor, maybe they'll go towards the minimum, which I don't even think you would even see that. I mean, heavens, it's not very much money when you pass it.
$400 is what you said or something.
Yeah, not even that. I mean, it would be
You
very.
think really a vehicle registration where they're $50 for personal vehicle, $8 for trucks?
That's I think that's the max. I got that here, I can tell you.
Yeah, maximum, not maximus.
No, that's the maximum amount, that's not what it is per vehicle. You know, campers, trailers, everything's different. I should have had that underlined.
Right.
Yeah, okay, so the maximum is $50 and $80 is the max. So if they did the minimum, it would be probably $5, something like that, or something in between. I'm gonna find it. If he had it listed out, everything, exactly what they all are. Okay, the minimum, for a passenger vehicle, truck under 11,000, motorcycle, mopeds, trailers under 9,000, collective vehicles and mini trucks. The minimum is $7.50 a year. The maximum is $50. And then for trucks over 9,000, trucks over 11,000, buses, semi-trucks, semi-trailers, RVs, the minimum is $5 and the maximum is $80. Or it could be something in between. So if your house taxes go down $100,
And you own 6 vehicles.
and you're somebody like, you're somebody like me that's got 3, 4 that would be affected on it. My wheel tax goes up 200, my home taxes go down 100, and
Still at $100.
I'm out
The
$100.
only way your tax is gonna go down, property tax gonna go down is your assessed value. Go down. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
See, it's, your property taxes, Michigan Daniel had it in the Constitution, they're capped at a certain amount, so it's not the property taxes are running away, it's my opinion, is the property values. If you go out, look at Richmond, want this new housing addition, $400,000 minimum on a new home. And it's not the taxes increasing, it's the assessed value. My taxes went up because my assessed value of my property, went up, but they everybody. So it's the assessed value of the property that's running away from it.
But if assessed values don't go up next year, Rick, your property taxes would, if your assessed value stays the same,
Yes,
your property taxes are gonna go down. Not a lot,
yeah.
but
I know the government's got also the runaway property tax, and that's not a runaway property tax. The assessed value of some of these mansions are building out, Noblesville and Carmel and everywhere out there.
all I want to say about property taxes, Bob grew up in Ohio, Michigan, Kentucky and Illinois would love to have our property taxes.
Any further? Next regular council meeting will be Tuesday, September 2nd, at 6:30. Public hearing for the 2026 budget. Everybody had a chance to review the claims.
Yeah, we'll adjourn and then that's it.
For properly moved and seconded, we accept the claims as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
For properly moved and seconded, we adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed?
Now
Right.
do the.
Yeah, you guys need to take a break, Ian, just wait on 7. It's not here, so where do you guys want to?
At this time, then we will convene the.
Convene away.
So I guess before I turn it over to Tom, let me give you just kind of a background. So I know some of you were here in November. That's really the only other one of these we've had. A couple of you weren't. So Tom is essentially going to present the case as building inspector, building commissioner. You guys are really what we call the finder of fact. So you need to affirm what you're seeing and that you believe that what he's presenting violates either state law or your ordinances. And then based on that, we can determine what the penalty should be or corrective action. I can help with that. So with that, I know Tom's got a packet, which I've kind of reviewed, and I know you guys have it in front of you, and I'll turn it over to him and let him kind of tell us where you, 450 North Palm.
Okay, if I stand up, you should sit there for a while. I will. Waiting for this, I guess. So what I wanted to do is go through the documents on the right side of your packet, and just to kind of go back to the history and come up to the current page, and then we'll talk about a couple of emails that I just recently got a hold of, and they are on the left side of your packet. But is anyone here representing AT Properties? No. Okay, so, the first page you have in there is actually, it's the sheriff's deed giving ownership of the property to, KP Property Group LLC. So it's a public record, and that was effective on, the date of April. No, I'm sorry, the 9th day of August is when KT Properties took ownership of 450 North Plum Street. The next document that you have there, you got it at the sheriff's sale, $70,001 was. Next document I have in there, you have it as numbered 1. It's a copy of the Hagerstown Electric Utility Company work order to turn the electricity off at that property. The reason I put this in here is to give you a sense of, at least from this date, no one was occupying the home. And that date on there, work order 7/30/24 was the date the work order came in and the meter was turned off. There's been no power in the home up until just recently. The next document is number 2, and that's Hagerstown Unsafe Building Hearing Authority. The document was generated by our fine attorney, and Building Commissioner Terry Ford signed it. This was mailed certified mail. I do not have a copy of the signature return that they actually received it, but this has actually happened. It was a 15 days notice. He did respond. I don't think at this point in the matter, there's no consequence, I don't believe, for not having that little return card. But this is when the actions started happening, September the 4th, 2024. Terry Ford seemed to believe that the property was in an unsafe condition and the process began. The next one, 3A and 3B, are photos from that time period. These weren't dated by the trees, the color of the trees. It's obviously fall, beginning of fall 2024. In these pictures, the house at the front door is boarded up, the back garage side door is boarded up. The accessory structure has not been closed up yet. And there's a lot of overgrowth. Plants are kind of taken off. And there's one inside photo of the restroom, the bathroom, which is obviously in pretty poor condition. So the next document is the Town of Hagerstown application for a building permit. Kyle Tom, if you flip it over, look on the back, he signed it as the owner of the agent, dated 11/19/24. He attests to the fact that the information here is true and accurate. He states that the project costs to renovate that property, bring it up to a pleasant condition of where a person would want to buy or rent it, at a cost to him of estimated at $49,900. HVAC, electrical, drywall, flooring, windows, kitchen, for that address. And he's named 2 contractors. Bob Wright is an electrical contractor and Jerry Worms is an HVAC guy, I believe. And behind that page is the receipt where the permit was paid for. 4B, right after 11/19 on November 20, there was a special meeting in the Unsafe Building Hearing Authority, and these are the minutes from that meeting, provided by Julie, our treasurer. Alan, you signed the document. If you look at the bottom there, 450 North Plum, Kyle Tom is the owner. It says Fred Dill recused himself from the discussion. Kyle Thomas stated the structure had been cleaned up with all the animals gone. Will not be a rental. We'll be doing a complete renovation of the property, about 120 days until completed renovation. So at that time, in November, he stated the project will take 120 days. He said he'd be out of state until February, for the February council meeting, but he's allowing Chris to inspect the property and inform council of progress. Councilman Longbonds moved to suspend the demolition of the said property, and an update from the town manager, Chris Lamar, at the February 3rd council meeting, so on and so forth. So the action is beginning there, and Kyle is making a commitment of 120 days to complete renovations in November. Next document is number 5. We mailed certified on May the 20th, another letter put together by our attorney. I signed because I was the building commissioner as of 8th of January. So I signed this in agreement with it. And as the authority having the power to send this thing to them, it is sent certified. There's a copy of the card that came back. It was mailed and they received it on the 5th month, May the 23rd of this year. And this document states that there's a meeting to be held June the 2nd at 6:30, basically to discuss the disposition of the whole project, what's going on with Kyle Tom, and why the place hasn't been dealt with as he said he would. On the 22nd of May, that document number 6 is a copy of my inspection report on the property, where he had Bob Wright install a new 100-inch service panel in the basement and an outlet, a GFCI receptacle under that service panel in the basement, be able to essentially have construction power. They can plug tools in, charge their batteries to begin doing work there. Again, this is May the 22nd. I inspected it and on the 22nd, and then I did a follow-up inspection for the corrections on the 6th of June. It was energized that day, so there is power on in the building as we speak with one outlet. 7th document there, again, is a certified letter. July 10th is the date of the letter. It was mailed on the 10th. Have documentation that it was received by KT Properties on the 14th. Again, they're wanting, the letter tells Kyle and his company that they would like to have a meeting July 21st here in this building. Of course, we know that that meeting was postponed because we didn't have enough of you folks in attendance. So that was postponed, rescheduled, which is the next document, mailed on the 25th of July. Return receipt is in hand, delivered to them on the 30th of July, arranging for them to be present if they so desire at this meeting on August the 4th. Here on it. Including 3 photographs. These were taken this morning. The front of the building still boarded up. The rear of the building, if you'll notice, there's a broken window on the lower level. The upstairs window is open. Apartments are beginning to repopulate with the new electrical service you can see there. And I have one picture in 9C, which is through the window looking at the bathroom on the first floor. You can see that the floor shows open floor joists. They've removed some of the floor sheeting to begin remediation of the water damaged floor sheeting and joists. There are broken joists to the right side of that. I was able to walk through the property when I did the inspections on the electrical. It smells terrible, but there's no law against smelling bad. Structurally, it seemed to be satisfactory. I didn't see any signs of termites. But the floor is rotted in that bathroom area. If a person were to go in there in the dark, say for instance, someone breaks a window, takes something off, wants to get in there and mess around, the possibility of stepping through and landing in the basement is possible. So just to conclude, I believe that the ordinance states, the way the ordinance reads the building is and has been, and I don't think it's changed the fact that it is an unsafe structure by ordinance and code. And I don't think anyone's disputing that fact. In the communications with Kyle and his business, no one, I don't believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, has made any statements arguing the fact that what the ordinance says, this house is not in conflict with what the ordinance says it is.
Do we have a copy of the ordinance?
Yeah.
Right. Put the electric line back. No, it's back in their hand.
Right there. So in the state statute, Indiana Code 36794 gives you 6 things. And keep in mind, the state statute allows townships to piggyback on their statutes. But in all of these ordinances, it only takes one of these statements to be true for it to be classified as an unsafe structure. Impaired structural condition that makes it unsafe to property or persons, a hazard to public health, public nuisance, dangerous to a person or property because of a violation of a statute or ordinance concerning building condition or maintenance, or, and specifically number 6, it's hard to get away from this one, vacant or blighted and not maintained in a manner that would allow human habitation, occupancy, or use under the requirements of statute or ordinance.
Pungent odor would be a public nuisance, would it? not?
Say again?
Pungent odor would be a public nuisance.
It could be if the health department were involved. It wouldn't be our determination. That would have to be a health department. And in our town's ordinance, it addresses that.
If the smell's inside, it's not.
Yes, there've been animals in
the
there.
street.
So, on the next page, looking for that section, it says, well, there is one in our book that says if it's determined by the health department specifically. But I don't think we need that determination because we've got enough already. If you look on the second page of that stapled together document, go down to 159.12, sealing and securing the building, which has been done, but not as the statute states it should be done. The final one down there, 159.14, the home's been vacant for more than 6 months. Any building or structure that has been vacant for more than 6 months may be deemed to be unsafe, an unsafe building pursuant to the unsafe building ordinance of the town. So I don't believe there's any good argument that we shouldn't be talking about this home as an unsafe structure for the reasons that are published in the ordinances. But if you look then on the other side of your page, putting mine off the side here, looking for my emails, there we go. Should be 2 of them. I think the one I had on top was dated October 8th. These for communications by email. One of them is with John. I don't know if you want me to read them or if you just want to take a moment and look through that, see what he stated on October the 8th. He being Kyle Tom.
Since this is being recorded, wouldn't it be a good idea for making a matter of record to have him read it?
Yeah, certainly read some of the highlights, yes.
Great, okay, so the subject notification of renovation project at 450 North Plum Street, Hagerstown. Dear Building Commissioner, please be advised that we are planning to commence a comprehensive renovation project at the property listed at 450 North Plum Street. This project will involve a complete overhaul of the existing structure, including but not limited to new roof installed, new updated electrical system, Bob Wright, new heating and central air conditioning, Worms Heating and Air Conditioning, new drywall and finish by Harvey Brothers Builders, new trim, in-house crew, new floor coverings, Ryan Flooring, new lighting, Bob Wright provided via American Lighting, new kitchen cabinets and countertops, Lowe's, new bathroom cabinets and counters, Lowe's, extensive exterior landscape upgrades, Solano Landscape, all necessary exterior repairs. That's his list. Then it says, we anticipate that the renovation will take approximately 120 days to complete. Our projected start date is October 15. The permit that they pulled was dated 11/19, so they were a month beyond their projected start date off the get-go. We will ensure that all necessary permits and approvals are obtained prior to the commencement of construction. If you have any questions or request any further information, do not hesitate to contact. We have been over and made the final assessment, and all needed materials have been ordered and are being delivered to the site end of next week. I know that you are all aware that we have had to secure this house about 3 times due to the bad children that keep breaking into the house. I would like to ask that if this happens again after we start construction, that if the children are caught via the cameras that we install or the police, that we prosecute the offense. The company is finally caught up to a place where we can start on this project and stay to completion. I would like to believe that it will actually take closer to 10 weeks, but do not want to overcommit and underdeliver on this letter. I'm asking that you consider working with me on the completion of the house, as we are going to make it very nice for the neighborhood. We will also be working simultaneously on the other property that I own in the area to complete it and have it ready at the same time. I would like to request that you mitigate the fine that has been issued on the property, as I am going to do everything that I can to make this eyesore a win for the community. It was hideous in condition when I got the owner out, and far more than a project than anticipated. It is our goal to make this a win for all. We would appreciate your help with this. Let me know if you would like to meet me at any point to discuss the specifics, but my plan is to sell this home, and so it will be finished in a way to pass all needed inspections, and so that it will bring top dollar. And signed, Kyle Tom. Stating 120-day project. Okay. The next email was sent last month, July the 8th. Keep in mind the progress that we didn't see as we looked through our previous stuff there. Dear Mr. Madison, I'm writing to provide an update on the progress of the reconstruction and development of the property located at 450 North Plum Street. We have made significant strides, and I want to assure you that we are committed to transforming this property into a valuable asset for the community. To date, the interior of the property has been completely stripped, preparing it for a comprehensive overhaul. I have ordered a new HVAC system, which Jerry Worms Heating and Air Conditioning will install shortly. Additionally, Bob Wright has completed the necessary preliminary electrical work to kickstart the renovation. We've also taken steps to improve the exterior, which has been cleaned up and safely secured. Some of the new windows have been ordered, and we are currently awaiting their arrival for installation. While this process is extensive, we anticipate reaching a point where the neighbors will be satisfied with the exterior condition of the house within 45 to 60 days. Our goal is to complete the entire renovation within 90 days. We have a proven track record of successfully redeveloping properties in the area. In the last 6 months, we've completed 2 other homes, turning them into high-quality residences that will contribute positively to the city's tax base. For an example of our work, I encourage you to drive by either of those properties or visit 206 East Graceland Heights online. That particular property was in even worse interior condition than 450 North Plum Street when we began. We are actively moving forward with this project and are confident that within approximately 45 days, any concerns from the neighbors regarding the exterior appearance of 450 North Plum Street will be alleviated. We kindly request your cooperation and support as we continue this important work. I will also be sending you a timeline of our expectations and a list of the contractors involved in the project. Sincerely, Kyle Tom. And then there's a list of exterior work that would be visual from the exterior that he's expecting to do, I think. And he has some completion dates. Exterior cleanup complete, exterior security complete, electrical box and electric complete, exterior framing and repair pre-painting complete by 7/28, exterior painting to be complete by 8/15, tree removal to be completed by 7/22/25, exterior scraping and paint removal complete, interior demolition complete, interior framing to be complete by 8/15, HVAC to be installed within 30 days, all exterior doors to be repaired/replaced by 8/15. Interior renovations will be based on availability, but should not be a concern to the city or the neighbors. Market price at completion will be $179,900.
But if we did gain access to the interior, did we not file for a warrant or did that not happen?
We did not file for a warrant. I emailed Mr. Tom and asked, and apparently he didn't get with you to let you in, but, so we can file. I think, because we shared the statute, I think uses the term refused, but he's not responded, so we can get a warrant and get in.
Can I ask some questions?
Please.
Is the exterior framing, repair, repaint, on the exterior, is it done?
No.
Tree removal, other than what we did and charged him and probably haven't been paid, is that done?
No.
Is, I guess he's still got 10 days for the rest of these things done, but the ones that he has a date have not been completed.
Correct.
Based on the picture that you took today, being able to look inside just the bathroom.
I did look in a couple of the other windows. It appears that all of the carpet, it is down to the bare walls and the bare floor. On the first floor, I couldn't see on the second floor. The basement was essentially empty when I was in there doing the electrical inspection, except for the large old style, probably coal converted to fuel oil furnace that's still sitting in the basement.
So I have a question. So, if we start taking bids for demolition, that takes at least 60 days, right? Okay, he asked for 45 days in his last request. We're 27 days in since he's done that. Okay, so he's got less than 18 days for that. So it's going to take us more than 18 days to receive the bids for demo. Okay. I don't believe there's any cost to receive bids for demolition, right? So if he has it completed in 15 days, we don't have to demo it if we take in bids, right? We can reject them all. Okay, so he has missed this. I mean, his first letter, even if you go November, December, January, February, March. Okay, so we missed that. I believe we are past March, so we missed that. He's already missed 2 of the dates that's already passed. You know, and I know, he's not gonna have all that done in 10 days, not gonna happen. It's just been one, I won't call it lie, miscommunicated time frame, one right after another. Personally, I don't know why we're going to continue to stall and wait and get another letter. And I'm paying you to send the letters. Thank you to our town attorney. I think he's done an excellent job. I think you really can see how good of a building commissioner we have with this packet. He's got everything documented in there. I personally, I don't see what we're waiting for. I mean, I just don't. I mean, do I want to take a house downtown? No, I don't. But he's not gonna give up ownership. And it just keeps dragging on and dragging on and dragging on. So,
So one thing you are allowed to do, just so you know, and you can do this in conjunction with bids for demolition, you can impose a civil penalty of up to any of $0 to $5,000 if you find that he has willfully failed to comply with the previous unsafe building enforcement authority's order. So that may be something to consider. That could be in conjunction with soliciting bids for demolition, but yeah, I don't feel that we're being.
Wasn't there mention of asking for leniency on a previous fine? Did we find him already?
There is a ticket that was prepared by the chief of police at Terry's request that was mailed. I have a copy of it.
Is that for
There has no action taken on it whatsoever. He has not, to my understanding, made anything.
Chris and Julie, have we billed him for the tree?
We are not as of yet.
You don't have an idea how much it's gonna be, Chris?
They weren't out there real long. I'll think I'm up with something.
Okay. Concern I have is he's not even here to try to rebuke these, or rebut, I guess I should say, our concerns and our allegations that he's in violation of our town ordinance. And he was
of his company.
Right, no, he doesn't have any representation here at all. So that indicates to me that he's not really too concerned about what we're gonna do, or he just assumes that we're just gonna continue to give him as much time as he needs.
We've been chasing this for a year, right? More.
Over a year. I have a question.
According to what that says, he is scraping and painting the exterior of the house.
No, it's already completed.
Okay, here's a question. He's scraping that paint. I do believe that's asbestos slate tile. So that's hazardous material. And I guarantee some of that is lead-based paint. So if he's scraping that, it's on the ground, that's hazardous.
When I drove by there at 6:15 this evening, I didn't see any evidence that they had done anything to the house. And Shelley may be able, since she lives there, may be able to verify or dispute that.
I've been told by the neighbor.
Well, there was actually somebody painting the garage. When I drove by. There was a power washer set up,
They did that.
and it looked like that the wood siding on the garage had been sanded down. And there was actually a gentleman who was painting with a roller the east side of the garage. I didn't see any evidence that they did anything to the actual house, but I didn't look that close.
Several weeks back, there were 2 men physically scraping paint off the garage, the accessory structure. And then I think they did a fine job of paint, they scraped a lot harder than I think.
It looked like it had been sanded.
Yeah, they scraped it.
Why their efforts are on the accessory structure ahead of the residence, I don't know.
They did, I was told they did power wash the house today,
Okay.
but I have not been home since 7:00 this morning, so.
There were 2 ladders. I went by at 5 or 5:30. There were 2 ladders in the front. I couldn't tell. There's nobody out.
There's one at the back too.
Yeah, so there was activity, but
So I'm gonna go back to my question. So 45 to 60 days. I'm just trying to be fair here. So he's got 18 days left on the 45. He's got 33 days left on the 60. That's what, and he said he didn't even, in the one, he didn't even need that amount of time, but that's what he's asking for.
But this process started.
But this is his last letter. So if we start the process of collecting demolitions, it's gonna take us 60 days. Even if we do that, gives him 30, it gives him 27 more days than the longest day that he's requested. So he has more than enough time to have that in shape to sell for $179,500. So we're not impeding anything on him for completing in his time frame. My deal is if we take the bids and we accept the bid, I don't care if he's got $150,000 on it, we accept the bid, it's coming down, right? Right?
That's your decision.
Yeah.
One thing that concerns me, Brian, is his statement about this most recent surge of activity is all on the exterior so that the neighbors will be satisfied visibly that the exterior has been renovated. That does nothing for the fact that it's an unoccupied structure, which is part of what got it in the unsafe hearing to begin with.
Another problem I have is he had communicated by email with John and said that there was a crew there as he was writing that email. As I was reading it, sitting in front of the house, there was no one there.
But didn't town council give him a deadline of May 31st?
That was the prior order, was that building, the rehabilitation and the ordinance violations were to be cured by May 31st. That was his commitment from the November hearing.
And that didn't
So
happen.
that's,
So this is,
Way past that.
Yeah.
so this is,
3 months ago.
this is our second hearing. and they've all been on this.
Let's go back before that. When all of these properties come up, and they all come in here, other than the one owners wanted us to take down that property. All of them owners said by fall, they would have them done up to safe levels, and all of them did except one. So his original deal was fall of 2024. Then we gave him, he asked for May. So he's really about 7 months or 8 months past his first promise. He's another 3 months past his second promise. And even if we start the process, we're still giving him probably 30 days past his third promise.
He's not, he asks for extensions, but he doesn't give any good valid reasons why. You know, he could say, we've run into cost overruns, or the contractor I was gonna use is busy on another job. He just wants us to just kind of cater to him and just continue to push back our deadlines. And at some point, we're gonna have to draw a line in the sand. We have community members that are upset about this.
One of the statements in there is that he ordered and has had materials delivered.
Yeah.
Well, then he said he did it again. So he had to reorder, I guess, but. So am I hearing you that we can move on with the process, plus we can find $5,000?
Yeah, and I think that would be, I would suggest that you solicit demolition quotes. I will let him know that and that'll be part of the order, is that you're gonna solicit demolition quotes. And you can pick your fine, the $0 to $5,000, if you find that he willfully failed to comply with the prior order. And then
He's already,
that's the legal finding you have to make, is that he's willfully failed to comply. And then you can, I think my suggestion would be, and if we do it at the same time in the council meeting, it's not that big, much more of an issue. Let's bring him back in September and see if he comes. And I've talked to him on the phone, I don't know, 2 or 3 times. The last time I called, I left a message and he didn't call me back, but I was just telling him this hearing. But I'll reach out to him and say, look, they're just set up, and
What do you want me to wait for September for?
September 4th.
No, I'm not saying delay. You can go ahead and enter your word or not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying reset a review hearing to get him back in here. Because what I'm hearing you guys say is you'd like to have him here to say.
I don't care if it's here or not.
I don't care if he's here or not, but it just seems like if he was really interested in protecting that project, that he would be here fighting this tooth and nail.
You or me, yeah.
But, you know, and maybe even show up with legal counsel.
Right.
Well, here's the thing, I think we just move forward with the order. I don't care if he comes back in or not, that's on him. We don't have to set a dang meeting for him to come. He should approach us this.
Right. Right.
We're done. Here's the order. It's gonna happen, Jack, unless you're here. And then it's probably still gonna happen if you come here. So, I mean,
So my thoughts are is, so Chris doesn't have to send a bill. It probably would have cost him $1,000 to get that limb and everything removed. People won't hardly come out for $1,000, will they, Chris?
I mean, I have to do a time with the rest of this town, but.
I say forget about sending a bill. I just say make the fine $5,000. And, and notifying that we're gonna start, providing, we're gonna put out, contracts for demolition. $60.
that's a motion, I'll second.
I mean, I know I got a citizen that's shaking his head, but, I've paid attorneys, it's taken our time. There's been expense here, we're not gonna charge him to take down the limb. He said he boarded up all the windows and doors, we boarded up all the windows and doors, it's been our material, our cost. I would say if we took all of our labor, all of our materials, all of our time, we paid our building inspector, our attorneys at least 4 times now, we're probably coming in the hole, probably lose money on it. Yes, Gary?
I'll clarify, I'm shaking my head, charge him to take the tree down.
Well,
Why give him a break? Would you give another homeowner a break?
yeah.
I agree, Gary. I mean, yeah, that was also what we agreed with in the previous meeting was that. he
But
was
I think that needs to get done immediately, Chris, like tomorrow.
Yep.
That needs to get out.
Taking the whole tree down?
No, we have any-
Charging you for the town did.
So it would be 2 employees that used to do the back drive.
The only praise I hesitated on that a little bit, Gary, is we did another tree limb removal in town and there wasn't any cost to that one, so
We did call for, are you talking about the one down here?
we didn't charge
Yes,
it.
we
Did we?
We put a lien on the, or they're going to put a lien on the property.
It's already.
Still be a legal process, yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, excuse me, that was the only reason I was going there, corrected. Okay,
From properly moved and seconded, based on the findings, that we enact a $5,000 fine as based, and that we give 60 days to ask for demolitions or bids for demolition,
What, that's just it.
or just,
It's gonna take 60 days. It's not a 60-day, we're not required by this, right? It's gonna take.
Right, I would just say you authorizing solicit demolition quotes, and then you get quotes, and then hopefully that's gonna incentivize him to get the work done. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to tear down a house, but we gotta have something done.
So we want to say open bids, the October regular board meeting then?
that gives him, let's see, September, that gives him 60 days.
Okay, because I mean, I've got to put, if I advertise.
Right,
Okay.
So how does that $5,000, how's that work?
Well, it's a civil penalty,
So
so it can be reported as a lien against the property from this, from the Inside Building Heritage Authority. So,
Is that illegal?
Is that something you do?
yeah.
I think you'll getting the bids in under 30 days, but you can ask Chris, I don't know.
I think it's possible, but we've got to advertise it. Julie advertising's, twice, 1 week apart, right?
I don't know if it's 1 week apart. Usually I see it
that?
20.
What's that?
The bids.
Has
The legal
to at least be twice and 1 week apart, right?
Yeah, usually between 7 and 10 days apart at least, yeah.
Okay, so 7 to 10, I'm not seeing a full 60 days here. I'm not.
I think we probably get it in.
How quick did you get the bids in for the last one?
It's just the boards.
Yeah,
It can be done within 30 days, yeah.
I like 30 days.
let's move.
Try, it'll probably be the same people always bid on our demo stuff.
So we're gonna open it in September?
Yeah, I don't see,
Why not? Yeah.
why not? We can get it done.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you have to get it out to sleep.
So, if I may, is it possible to just flat out decide the home will be demolished? When you're taking bids? And I mean, what can he do? Why do we even give him a chance for another 30 days or 40 days? When we've basically decided that he's done, he's not gonna have the interior and the exterior.
Says he will, he said
Yeah, but
in 18 days he'll be done.
he didn't meet the 120 days, he didn't meet this, he didn't meet.
He ain't gonna if we give him 90 days, he ain't gonna meet it. If we give him 120, he ain't gonna meet it. If we give him 150, he ain't gonna meet it.
Well,
We're gonna be here another year.
We're not doing anything.
Right, so,
That's kind of to my point, is why not just make the decision?
Well, but we-
tear it down?
well, we're starting the bids. I guess he's gotta understand we're gonna tear it down. But if he gets it completed before the demo people get there, I mean, we're not gonna take a house down that has been totally remodeled and worth 179.5.
And occupied.
Well, I would probably give him a little lean day to give him a chance to sell it, but if that house is sitting there worth 179.5 in 18 days. And the kids he's talking about is probably the coons and the possums. He's probably named, he's probably named them.
So the motion now stands at imposing a civil penalty of $5,000 and requesting bids by the September meeting.
Yes.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? That was it, right?
Yeah, so I'll get an order finalized and get it to you for signature.
Hey,
Are you done or?
we done.
Yeah.
I just got when government seizes a property and destroys it, that is a big, in my opinion, that's a huge thing. And I'm not one to want to jump on something like this, but this is ridiculous. And it's unsafe, it's a nuisance, and it's been ongoing, so.
And he's had the property since August of 2023.
I mean, I have reservations about just, I mean, because we are seizing a property and destroying it and taking it from somebody. That's huge. That's huge, in my opinion. But it's necessary. And we have gone well above and well beyond anything here to make this thing happen. So it's just not a land grab or a government power brokerage thing. This is, we have been more than compliant here. So just keep that in mind. I mean, if you sit down and think about that, what we're doing, we are snatching somebody's property and we are destroying it. So.
Does he still own the property
Yeah.
after the house is gone?
No,
No, yes, he does. He still owns the property. You will have, if all this goes through, then you will be able to place a lien for the demolition cost against the property, but he still owns it. He's still the record owner.
he might like that.
Well, he still owns the ground, but we're snatching up the house and
Right.
we're destroying property, government.
I thought we were taking ownership of the property too. Yeah, okay.
That was my impression too initially.
But you'll have a lien on the property.
Yeah.
So we'll recoup our
Well,
costs.
like Brian said, if we take bids and tear it down and he still owns that lot, now he can start over from scratch and build another house there.
No,
which-
not until he pays the
It
lien.
doesn't know if it pays the lien off, yeah. So,
I don't care if he builds a new house there.
So this is very good.
I mean, that'd be good for the town.
That'd be
Yeah,
great for the town.
we had a
So
new
how
house.
does that work? So we would have to pay for the demolition?
Oh, yeah.
Brian's expensive.
We just got it.
You could order that he pay it, but how do you think that's gonna go? Yeah.
Can I make one request? Tear the garage down too. Because you're not allowed to have an accessory structure on property without a primary structure. Make the lot clear.
Yeah, we're
Can that
making,
be included in that, John?
That's part of the code. It's gotta be compliant once it's done. So, yeah, I think when you solicit the demo bids, you solicit both.
yeah. just, we're gonna take bids for tearing down, for raising the house and the garage.
Because if you just do the house, then you're non-compliant with your own ordinances.
Yeah.
You gotta find yourself.
And Tom's gonna find us, I promise.
Yeah.
So now you're setting a precedence, and I have no problem with this. But we have people come and ask us to put a garage on a property with no house. And we gave them variances and
Well, you're talking about a new garage versus some dilapidated.
I hear what you're saying. Now, I don't know what their history is on variances for that, so I can't speak to that, but I know what the ordinance says.
you know, I think
You can build an accessory structure a short time before building the primary structure, but you're supposed to have plans and be in the process to build the primary structure. But you can put an accessory structure there, for instance, to put materials and keep your stuff in while you're building the house is the exception.
So if you buy a property and you tear the house down, it's got a nice garage, you wanna keep it, you're saying that's not legal?
That would make it non-compliant because.
Well, there's several properties around town that.
That way.
You can think of about 3 or 4 right now offhand, where there's a
So
cross.
does living in a converted bus, is that?
If you can start the motor and drive it off,
Yeah, but
it's
there's
okay.
a few properties that I know that's got buildings on them. As long as I've been on the zoning board, nobody ever requested a variance for those. They just, when we hadn't got a permit, we're not to do it.
Okay.
So we never come for the zoning board to get a variance.
I have a motion to,
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
it's been properly moved and seconded to be adjourned. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's us. That's there. Yeah, we still have.